Welcome into Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Osland. You find the show under that name now on the YouTube side if you've been podcasting it for so long on Spotify, as it's been around for at least 7 years now. You can still find it there or on iHeart or on iTunes. Get to me at Follow Adam A. Again, get to the show now on YouTube at Clippers Talk. If you've missed some of the episodes so far since we started things up with the vodcasting, we had Andrew Greif on from the LA Times yesterday. Brian Seaman was on last week. Matt Moore and me had a drag-out fight regarding Paul George, HP basketball, of course. That Matt Moore. You might want to subscribe just based off of that, but I'd say give this episode a try first. See how it fits you. See how it works for you, because tonight I think I have a good one. Joining the show right now is not only an artist on Spotify and a frequent analyst on X and the Lob the Jam, the podcast, but he's one of my basketball North Stars, someone whose opinion holds a lot of weight as far as I'm concerned. It's my friend Jamal Cristopher at Jamal Cristopher, Cristopher on Instagram, or at Jam Cristopher on X. Jamal, my friend, how we doing?
I'm great. You're far too kind for that intro right there, man. But I consider you much of the same as well, man. We've been pretty locked in for a while. We've done something like this in the past. And you're my guy, man. I'm glad to be on. And you said it, whether it was Rife, you got I think you got Dime coming on tomorrow. Like you're doing your thing. So I'm just honored to be on, man. So yeah, anybody that shares that Clipper passion that like I do, it's all good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate the love here. Needed to have you on early on as I get this YouTube series underway here, of course. And I heard you were at Intuit Dome Thursday night for the christening, the opening ceremony. And not only that, you went to the show afterwards. You saw the Bruno Mars show. I know there was a hiccup. I want all the details on this. Was it the face scan technology? Were they able to rectify it in a swift manner? How did that go? What was it like?
The experience in general was awesome, man. That was my second time that I had been to Intuit, and yeah, you just feel the presence of like the Clippers, even with a Bruno Mars concert. There was hiccups. It had to do with the face scanning, and it just really created like a little log jam. That's all it really was. Um, Things that I feel will be sorted out by the opening night against the Suns. But yeah, I was there. It was cool to see some of the Clippers there. I mean, you would like to see like Kawhi and Harden, but some Clippers were there. You really felt what it meant to be in that moment, right? Like it was a landmark day for Clipper fans and just the franchise in general. And it was cool because you had that part of things, and then you also had the people who had no clue what the Clippers were, didn't even care about the Clippers. They were like, "It's Bruno. I'm trying to hear 24 carats in the air." That's all they cared about. So, yeah, it was like a mix, but I think the biggest takeaway was like everybody was like, "This arena is crazy. It's crazy. It's awesome. It still has that new arena smell." Um, yeah, I'm a Bruno Mars fan, so that added to it. But yeah, every time I go back to the Intuit Dome, it just kind of it's so crazy when you factor in like where I sat to witness like Clipper games and concerts the last few years. It's a difference, man. The moment you sit in your chair, you're like, wow, like this is new, this is the fresh, this is invigorating. I had a great time, and yeah, I'm planning to go back on the 23rd. At least I'm trying. I'm trying to get off work now, but yeah, no, I had a great time, man. And yeah, to answer the swiftly part, it was pretty swift. When you're there, it doesn't feel as swift because like you're standing in the line, and as you're standing, just more people are starting to come. You would like for that process to be in and out, but like I was talking with my brother about it, and the second night of the Bruno Mars concert, you didn't hear much of that at all. And then they had shows going on this past weekend. You didn't hear anything about that at all. Olivia Rodrigo is performing there tonight. So I'm assuming that's going to go over swiftly and well. So yeah, I think that was kind of like the first night thing. I mean, I know for me, I expected it because it's like a brand new arena, brand new app. Even just reading about it, right? You're just like, what? Like face scanning? Like this is how we're gonna
Yeah.
do things? It was a brand new experience for me. So I knew if I was gonna have like some kind of trepidation regarding it, it wouldn't surprise me that there would be hiccups along the way. And I think Ballmer kind of alluded to it during the ribbon ceremony, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, no, bro, it was great, man. It was great. I can't wait to go back.
A little bit of patience, Clipper Nation. Let them work out the kinks, but by
Yeah,
October 23rd, you would expect it to be smoothed out for opening night against the Phoenix Suns at Intuit Dome. I need to know this. I heard from Brian Seaman late night. He texted me at midnight. It was madness. I can't wait to be here for a basketball game.
yeah.
What was the sound? What was the sound like in the building compared to crypto, compared to other venues, maybe the Forum, which I think has really good sound.
Mhm.
Crypto, not so much. Once the crowd fills in, it kind of muffles it. How was the
Yeah.
sound at Intuit Dome? It was a THX quality.
Crystal clear and loud. I mean, I don't really have like a deep dive on that, but other than like it's just loud and you feel it like it's much closer. I think you just said it with the Forum. I don't know if you've ever watched a show at the Forum versus a show at Crypto. You kind of can feel the difference. Much more intimate. Yeah, it's loud, man. It's jumping, and even in that scenario, it's kind of like you. I don't know because like you would hope that waiting outside to get in wouldn't dampen things for people, and it didn't. They got in. Once Bruno got on, it was loud, man. That was just like my biggest takeaway. It was super loud. So yeah, what B Seaman said is true, man. I can just imagine a Clipper game or a playoff game, especially. Like, dude, like that's a real home court advantage right there. So yeah, no, super loud, super crystal clear. I had a few drinks in me, so I, you know, take it for how you want it. But no, it was loud and it was great.
Did Bruno acknowledge the Clippers much? Did he say anything? Hey, I used to be a fan of this team, but I might be converted to the Clippers now. Or
So he didn't, but what he did acknowledge is he acknowledged in the middle of his show, he was like, hold up, we're making California history. We just opened the Intuit Dome. I need everybody to go crazy, da 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 da. And then towards the end, he acknowledged he thanked Steve Ballmer for giving him the opportunity to open the Intuit Dome. So that was real cool, real cool.
how was the traffic on the way out? Where did you park? And how quickly were you able to hit the freeway and get out of there?
Wasn't quick, wasn't quick, but it wasn't
How's
it
it
wasn't
compared to
super long.
SoFi, maybe?
Yeah, I haven't been to SoFi, but it wasn't like I don't know. Like it was to be expected. It wasn't quick, but it wasn't like super drawn out. I don't know the name of the garage yet that I parked it. But it's right by shit. I forgot. I parked there for the tour that I went on as
The
well.
West Garage, maybe?
I think that might be what it is. I would have to look in my email.
Okay.
But no, the traffic was regular.
I'll take
I
that.
think yeah, like it wasn't I don't know, like if you've been to like a Dodger game, or even if you've been to like a Clipper game to a lesser extent, like it's nothing like you can't manage. Like I saw that on Twitter as well, where people were just like, "Oh, this is just going to be super packed trying to get out." I didn't experience that. I didn't experience that. It wasn't like an in and out thing, unless you decided to like leave the concert early. But like, no, you it was pretty smooth, honestly.
People got home in an orderly fashion, nothing too unusual or out of the ordinary. That's all we
Yeah,
want. That's all we want.
yeah.
Uh, what are some of the keys for you with Intuit Dome and the difference that's going to be made there for Clipper Nation and experiencing
Mhm.
basketball at this place?
For me, the biggest key is going to be the people, man. Um, because it falls on us as fans. To me, that's the biggest key, right? Like, Ballmer has done his part, right? He's created a more for lack of a better term, but he's made an environment where you can be more into it. And once you get there, you'll see it. Like even the super high, not super high, but like even the highest sections, you feel like you're much closer to the action than you would be at crypto. You've never experienced a basketball game the way you're gonna experience it at Intuit. Just sitting in my seat for the tour, I was like, wow, like just the halo is crazy. And yeah, like every seat in the arena, you feel like you're on top of the players, and it just really creates a home court advantage. You know, we were saying it felt a little bit like the Long Beach Pyramid. The best ways I could explain it is the Long Beach Pyramid, and combined with San Diego State, combined with the Utah Jazz. That's kind of how it looked and felt with the arena. And yeah, I think Ballmer achieved what he set out to do, which was create an environment that incites fans to want to be a fan. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's a state of the art, $1 billion. You go through, you can see your high school on the wall. Like it's crazy. You can go on and on about all of the things and all of the features of the arena. But if we don't bring it as fans, when it comes to providing that home court advantage for the guys, and it's like, you know, but I do think that's going to be the biggest key. Can fans night in and night out on that Monday night versus the Nets? Are you guys going to come out and yell to the top of your lungs? Because I'm a true believer in home court advantage. Um, I've seen Clipper crowds at crypto, very underrated. So I'm excited to see what a really good crowd at Intuit is going to look like. But yeah, it's going to fall on the fans to me. That's going to be the most important thing.
I'm going to make a prediction here based upon what you've said, what I heard from Brian Seaman, what I saw when I went and visited.
Okay.
Because Brian said they had 6,000 people there for a test run scattered throughout the arena, which holds about 18,000 at full capacity. He
Mhm.
said, I believe the decibel level that it got up to was 120. 140 is a jet engine. I remember it being 110 up at Arco Arena, where I'm from back in the day, during the cowbell days and the heyday for the
Ah,
Sacramento Kings with C. Webb and the crew. It was
see that,
deafening.
Mike Giddy.
If 6,000 people can create 120 decibels near the floor, 18,000, I'm going to say this
Man,
is going to end up being the new loudest arena. When Clipper Nation brings it, they're going to be able
yes,
to reach magnitudes and sound decibels that we haven't heard, even in places like OKC that are known to be loud.
I don't disagree. And honestly, I don't even think it's going to be that hard of a feat as long as, like you said, the fans bring it. It's like the little stuff, like everybody knows now about how there's chargers at every seat. You go and get something to eat. The game clock is right there alerting you like, hey, you need to get back to your seat. It's really a mecca for basketball. It's really incites you to be a fan. And those are things that have never pretty much never been done in a basketball arena. So yeah, no, I would see that, and I don't disagree at all. Um, I honestly would be shocked if we weren't the loudest arena in the league. Um, Hopefully our guys come through and provide the product on the floor, because we do need that as well, to make it, work between the fans and the players. But no, if the fans bring it, I don't even think it's gonna be close, man. Like maybe I'm gassing it a little bit, bro, but like he's not lying. Like when I was at the Bruno Mars show, bro, it got so loud, and I can just imagine how. Mind you, this is a Clipper arena for like a pop star, a Clipper arena for a Clippers basketball game,
So they had to reconfigure
and
it. The wall was down.
yeah,
They had to make it for the concert.
right, right. And so, and then if I'm not mistaken, for the concert venue, you do have to cut out a certain amount of seats just for the
Right.
stage in the set. So, yeah, man, there's nothing like a venue that was made for basketball, and having that basketball team there. I just think the sky's the limit in terms of noise, 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 noise. Um, I always say,
Bring the mother effing ruckus.
come on, man. Like I always say, the loudest game that I've ever been to in my life was Game 6 in the semis in 2021 versus the Jazz. I
Same.
was close enough to where it literally felt like the ground was shaking, and I can literally see the Jazz players like, yeah, you're in some shit. You know what I mean? Like I think we can eclipse that. So, yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. Sky's the limit in terms of the voice that the Clipper fans can bring for sure.
I know a guy on good authority that can back you up on that being one of the loudest games ever at
Yeah.
crypto, because Big Brother Jake Warner, the head engineer for the Clippers radio station, he's also worked for the Lakers in the past. He continues to work with the LA Kings. He's seen Stanley Cup final games there. He was at Game 7, Lakers Boston. He said the only game, and he'll be on the pod soon, the only game that was louder, that got louder in that arena that he could remember was Kobe's final game, also against Utah in 2016. That's it. That's it. Outside of that, it's Game 6. Clippers coming back down 25. Terrence Mann with 39 against Utah to advance to the Western Conference Finals.
To be fair, that was like the first home game in which what was it, like COVID had kind of lifted a little bit, and
it still wasn't full capacity.
No, yeah, that's what it wasn't full capacity, but like I just remember the Mavericks had like sellout crowds, and then we had like cut out cardboard fans, and then Game 6 was like the first game where we could actually have like a decent showing in terms of fans, and we brought it that night, and so yeah, I think we can eclipse that easy. So with Intuit, so yeah, I'm excited, man.
I think I saw the cardboard cutout from 3 Men and a Baby, and the Jazz were seeing some ghosts then too. That's an old weird rumor. Okay. Jamal Cristopher is our guest here on Clippers Talk. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to have him tonight. We still have a lot to get into here. I wanted that firsthand account of Intuit Dome during their first concert with Bruno Mars, but I want to go back a little bit further before we project and talk about this season with some predictions here, because you had been for so long, Jamal, one of the good soldiers for Paul George, battling people online that were overly negative about him, talking about his inconsistencies, talking about his playoff lows. You would stand up for him, and you would bring up how nobody talks about Damian Lillard and some of his playoff low points. Nobody talks about Jimmy Butler and that series he had, in 21 or 22 against Milwaukee. And you would defend Paul George. When did you turn? Was it after the playoff series against Dallas where you just couldn't defend it anymore? Or was it the day of, where after everyone knew he was leaving and it was obvious and the Clippers put out that statement that they're no longer pursuing bringing back Paul George, you ethered him on X, something good. Jamal.
That was a good one. I can't lie. That was a good one.
Hey, give yourself credit.
Yeah.
I have it right here. And if you wouldn't mind, Jamal, would you maybe, I don't know, do this a cappella and spit this verse here? Because it's a parody of Meet the Grams by Kendrick Lamar, and you adapted it and you put it in terms and in lyrics about Paul George regarding him leaving. I don't know. If not, you're going to have to make the corny white guy do it. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that.
I'll do it. I just got to get my phone because I can't see it.
I don't know if I can make this any bigger here.
Hold up.
This is at Jam Cristopher. It only got 1.6 million views here. And Jamal right afterwards doing the laughing emojis. And I know it was someone.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I said, well, you got to have the whole Kendrick Lamar Meet the Grams playing in the background.
Hold on, I can get that.
Are you gonna play it?
Yeah, you tell me if you hear it and tell me if it's too loud or not, because for whatever reason it won't let me hear the music. Tell me if you hear this.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is that appropriate levels?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, you got 18 seconds here to get this in based upon the mix you put up yourself. So this is an 18-second instrumental that you're going to have to perform over here, Jamal, starting in 3, 2.
You lied about your heavy swings. You lied about your step back threes. You lied about your get back and where you want to retire at. You lied about your battle scars. You lied about your point guards. You lied about the benefits. You lied about your bully shit. You lied.
Meet the Georges.
Meet the Georges there. There it is. That's it.
Thank you for
Believe that.
entertaining me there and indulging the audience. I had to hear
Yeah.
it because it is an all timer. Again, it's got almost 2 million views. Paul
Bro, I didn't even
George
think of it.
has likely seen this. I'm not kidding. This is something Dallas
That's funny you think
Rutherford or
about
one of the guys may have stumbled upon from his podcast. But you went in hard. I know some of that was just having
it.
some
Yeah,
fun with it. And we got to
absolutely.
laugh to stop from crying sometimes as Clippers fans. So it was well put. It was well taken. But is there that much animosity from you towards Paul George now as things completely flipped with him going to Philly?
Nah, not to that extent. Like you said, I was just doing my thing. For me, I and my brother would back me up. I thought Paul George was leaving for a while, months prior to him actually leaving. I was one of the guys who believed that he had a max offer out there, and I always said, Paul George is 34 years old, and you're gonna have to show me a 34-year-old willingly passing up that full max that the Sixers were offering. Um, not to mention that it was towards a contender. So it was like, yeah, bro, if the Sixer thing is real, I think he's out of there. And so I thought he was leaving for a while, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say like it was a full turn. I think as you can attest to it, when you watch somebody every game for like 5 years, um, your opinions, a lot like his game, is just kind of like this, right? It's just up and down. Um, I do think that this series versus the Mavericks was kind of just like, okay, what are we doing? Like, not only is Kawhi hurt, but like you are asking for max money, and I mean, he looked terrible. He looked terrible. He wasn't even. Harden was better than him. Zoo was better than him, and it's like, what are we doing at this point?
Terrence,
Terrence was better than him, and it was
PJ
just
Tucker in the
really
second half of game 6 was better.
like it was just really disheartening to see. Um, it was disheartening to see it in that way. But yeah, I used to go to bat for Paul George, man, because I still do think sometimes uh, he gets unfair criticism that comes his way. But and Philly fans will soon realize this. A lot of it is warranted, and when you watch him every night, what you will see that the other fans don't see is the random. I played 40 minutes and I have 6 points and I've shot 4 times. Why does that happen? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, or the week or two where it seems like you're starting to ask, is Norman Powell actually better than you? Like, what's going on here? And you can go and say Kawhi's injuries. You can say we didn't get Harden to start the year. You can say whatever, but at the end of the day, the onus is always going to fall on the guys who are on the floor. Like I wish Kawhi Leonard was on the floor. He wasn't. There's not much you can say about that. But when it comes to PG, I just think, man, in 2019, the guy that we traded for was coming off first team All NBA, 28, 29 a game, first team All Defense, third MVP voting. And yeah, he wasn't even 30. So he was like right in the middle of his prime. So you figure if you pair him with the finals MVP, that's worth everything. Just give the house. We need to pair those two guys up and give it our best shot. Um, and while those two guys during that era, they were good on the floor, but the Paul George that we got, and let's not even talk about the injuries yet because that's just unfortunate, bad luck. But when Paul George was actually on the floor, we got a really good Jalen Brown ish tier player. which is really good. He's really good, and I still think he's one of the best players in franchise history. But that is not the player we traded for. We traded for a guy that is fighting for first team All NBA alongside Kawhi Leonard, and we didn't get that. And that had a trickle down effect on a lot of things. That is why Harden eventually ended up being here. And yeah, it sucks that it ended the way it did. I don't hold too much animosity for it because at the end of the day, we are the Clippers, and this is still a guy that, as a Clipper, was an All NBA, multiple All Stars, um, and yeah, for the lone finals, I mean not finals, but Western Conference Finals appearance, he averaged 27 a game. So on that note, I am definitely appreciative of PG. That's why like that tweet is like I'm just doing my thing. I'm just getting my jokes off. I
Yeah.
kind of mean some of it, but like I'm getting my jokes off. But
There's truth
um,
in the jest, but it
yeah,
overall,
you know
I
what I mean.
I
Like
think I interpreted and everybody interpreted it the right way.
except PG fans, they've been. But like the thing with PG fans, bro, is like I depending on what day I get on Twitter is like I either hate Paul George or I give Paul George way too much love. Like I've heard both sides. So
That probably
that
means you're
tweet,
being objective.
I
If
try
you're
to
getting
be,
hate
man.
from everybody, you're probably being
Yeah.
objective.
Yeah, I try to be, man. Especially when it comes to Paul George, and it's tough because even before the Clippers, he was one of my favorite players. And having him join the team, it was just like, wow, like I'm on cloud nine. And yeah, sometimes when you get to see things up close, it's like this is cool, but this is not what I thought it would be. Um, and yeah, it just sucks that it ended that way. But yeah, no, I still hold Paul George in high regard, especially during this Clipper tenure.
He deserves to get his jersey retired at some point down the line
Absolutely.
by this Clippers organization. How easy would it be for you to make the case, to make the argument that the Clippers got the better end of the exchange with James Harden now being a Clipper and Paul George being in Philadelphia? It's almost like there was a
Mm,
trade that happened between those
yeah,
two
yeah.
players. How do you Can you make that case today that James Harden's the better player and could have the better season?
I can. I don't know how much it would matter because at the end of the day, if you ask me to answer honestly, as of August 20th, Paul George and the Sixers are in a better position to attempt a title chase than we are now. So I don't really know how much it would matter, but I think it's very clear that James Harden is a better player. I said this a few days ago that there's real potential for the Harden and Kawhi duo to be a better fit than PG and Kawhi, just off of the fact that um, Kawhi Leonard. You can make the argument Kawhi Leonard has never played with a point guard as good as James Harden. You could argue that Paul George is coming off his most efficient season ever because of James Harden. And James Harden has raised the floor of teams even last year in a way that I don't even think Paul George has ever done in his career. And so he just plays a very high IQ, prize every possession brand of basketball. It's like, I don't mean to throw shots at Paul George, but when the ball is in James Harden or Kawhi's hands, I don't think about the ball going into the fifth row or doing some like, what the kind of pass are you throwing? You know what I mean?
Hey, that's going to be
I
like the 10th row at Intuit Dome because the seats are so much
right
closer. Like,
there you go, there you go, there you go. So, yeah, especially after the playoffs last year, I'm not gonna lie. Like during the season, I felt like Paul George was our second best scoring option, but I felt always that James Harden was our second best player because of how he can lift the team, how he can make plays for Zoo, how he can make plays for Terrence Mann, how he can make the game easier for Paul George and Kawhi. And then in the playoffs, I just thought it was just abundantly clear by that point. Like, yeah, James Harden, if Paul George was as good as he was billed, we would have gotten out the first round, even without Kawhi, right? So yeah, I think I can make the case pretty easily, honestly, that James Harden is a better player um, than Paul George. But then again, that just begs the question, like, how much does that matter? You know what I mean?
Because you're higher than most on the Clippers coming into this season. At least you were before the schedule release. That may have changed some
Yeah.
things for you. But I know you were saying a lot of people are sleeping on this team. They're better than you realize. How much of that is on the growth and development of Ivica Zubac and Terrence Mann now having, you would assume, bigger roles?
Oh, everything, especially Zoo, especially Zoo. Um, I'm higher than most on the Clippers, but I do believe that without a Zoo leap, it just becomes very tough. Again, it goes back to what I said about Paul George. When you watch a guy every night, you can kind of get a more accurate like depiction of who he is as a player. Same with Zoo. I've watched Zoo every game since he's been a Clipper, and that's been easy because he doesn't miss a ton of time. Another reason why I love him. But yeah, he's just his offensive game every single season, man, just grows. The individual stuff where you can just throw the ball to Zoo and say, "Hey, um, we need a bailout. It's low in the shot clock. Just get us a quick two." It feels like everything around the rim goes in. He's also one of the best defenders in the league. I think the second year synergy of Harden and Zoo will only be better. Um, so yeah, I have us in like the 6 to 10 range going into the season. But that can even go higher if we do get a career year from Zoo. And again, that is asking a lot. But when you watch what he did in the first round last year, what him and Harden did in the first round last year, um, I'm all the way in on Zoo. I think Zoo um, has all the reason to be one of the most improved players in the league this year. And same for Terrence Mann. Law talks about it a lot. How every time Terrence Mann is given more of a leash, he produces. And just last year, it just so happened that he ended up being squeezed with Harden and Westbrook, Kawhi, Paul George, and so he doesn't get the ball as much. But this is the year where he's probably going to be featured. So I'm really looking forward to the league that Terrence Mann can take as well. One of the best finishers in the league, one of the best athletes in the league. Um, we're going to need that, especially with the absence of Russell Westbrook, in terms of that backcourt pace and force to the rim that this version of James Harden may not provide as much. Um, so yeah, between those two, man, if those two pan out the way that I think they can, yeah, I think we absolutely are one of the more underrated teams in the league going into the year. But understandably so, because I don't want to sit up here and like lie. Not replacing Paul George makes it much more of a mountain to climb, and the steps that you are asking Zoo and Terrence to take, while I think are possible, they are real steps. So that's why our range of outcomes to me includes like barely, in the play in almost. But I have a top six though. I do have a top six.
Give me a stat line on averages with Ivica Zubac for them to get to that sixth spot and stay out of the play-in. Are you saying 18 and 11, 16 and 10? What do you think he needs to
Yeah.
average for them to hit their ceiling in your mind?
What he did in the playoffs. So if I'm not mistaken, that was like 16 and 10, 16 and 11, something like that. I think what he did in the playoffs, he can replicate it. This may be some zoo gas, but I think that's a player, man. I think he can do it. Um,
I agree
I
with you.
think I think it's going to have a lot to do with um, Shap. I saw Shap tweeted it today. He was saying, "Let Zoo go, Ty. Let him go." And I think it's going to have a lot to do with like Ty and Kawhi and James to really say like, hey, we really believe you can be our third guy. We really, the sky is the limit. They've got to trust him and feed him. I'm kind of going off the rails here, but like feed him like he's Jokic, bro. Like he has the second best touch in the league around the rim, other than Jokic. He doesn't miss. Like, give him the ball and give him as much as he can handle, and that will make the game easier for everyone else. It is time to unleash Zoo. If we're gonna do this year, it is time to unleash Zoo. And yeah, I'm all on the Zoo train. I think the sky is the limit for him. He's healthy. He plays every game. One of the best defenders in the league. In a restricted area, he's money. He's got the jump hook now. Even if you give it to him outside of his little range, he's got the floater that he can give you. I just think the world of Zoo and his abilities, and I just think for years we haven't trusted him enough, and I think we may be in a position now where we have to, and I think it could pay dividends.
You've had the Meet the Grams parody. I thought about doing a Forgot About Dre parody for Ivica Zubac because so often they say, oh,
Yeah,
this is it. We're going to start getting him more involved, more touches. It happens for a game or two, and then it's over.
for a
When
quarter.
Zoo
Oh,
fails, when Zoo has a bad moment or possession or two, it's like he gets treated as a rookie still sometimes. He has no
yeah.
built-up equity within the team or the coaching staff. It feels like I think it's going to be different this season. But over the years, with Paul George and so many mouths to feed, it has froze him out at times, and I can't take it because he's too important. There is an easier way to win ball games, and it is
Talk about
playing
it. Yeah.
for Ivica Zubac.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I remember, what was it, 22, 23, the year that we got Westbrook. And like, right before we got Westbrook, we got our guys complaining to the media, like we need a point guard. And Paul George is saying the answer is Westbrook. He's out there. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. But like, more of what you alluded to, there's an easier way to do this. Just throw him the ball and let him put out some fires the same way he put out fires on the defensive end. Um, yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I do know Ty Lue loves a small ball. He trusted Zoo a lot more last year, though. But I think from a feature standpoint, that's the key right there, right? I'm not talking about just playing Zoo more, giving him more touches. No, 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 no. Feature him. This is one of the star players on the team. He is the third best player on the team. Give him the ball. And this is a guy that, what was the game against the Pacers? Yeah, like almost what was it, 30 and 30 or something? I don't
30
know.
and
He gave
29, I think. He fouled out and didn't get that last rebound.
Yeah, man. I saw him give Jokic 35, man, or in Denver. Come on, man. Like, Lou is like that, man. So,
He's wrecked Jokic. He's given him two of his worst shooting games in his career.
and they always get us. They always get on us about the 2023 one. But the minutes in which Zoo was on the floor with Jokic, we won those minutes. Like, Zoo he's I don't know, man. I don't know. I do feel much better about our chances, though, if we do get a 16, 17 a game year out of Zoo, if he has it in him. I believe he does. Um, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go on record and say it. I think we're going to get a career high year from Zoo. Um, and if you get enough Kawhi games along with that, James Harden, more aggression because no Paul George, then yeah, I think we can avoid the play-in, which to me is our goal. That's my goal for the Clippers this year. Avoid the play-in, get in the playoffs with a healthy Kawhi, and then all bets are off at that point.
You put out at Jam Christopher on X recently during the Summer League something to the effect of, I think we got one here, talking about Jordan
Oh,
Miller. What did you
yeah.
mean? What did you mean by that exactly? How much potential do you see in him?
Um, I was a little gassed at that point. I was hyped
He should have been
when
the
I
MVP
seen
of
it.
Summer League. There was reason
Yeah,
to be.
he was robbed, man. He was robbed. But when it comes to us and our picks, man, like we strike out so much, and when we strike out, it's not like this player didn't pan out. These players leave the Clippers and aren't in the league anymore, or like these guys can't even get on the floor to help us. You know what I mean? Like by the end of last year, like our rotation was embarrassingly thin. You know what I mean? And we have guys like respectfully, I don't want to diss anybody, but like Moon's taking up spots. You know you can't play him in a game. You know what I mean?
because
Musa,
of his
you're
size.
not putting him in the game. And so I know a lot of people like to say like Ty Lue doesn't trust young guys. And I'm not so sure about that. I think more than anything, the young guys that we have a lot of times just aren't up to the challenge. They're not good enough. Now, I think that's starting to turn a little bit. I was really encouraged with Jordan Miller, because for me, I'm a big proponent of um, like I need to see a runway, right? And dating back, he was awesome in college. G League dominated. It was legit too easy for him. Got in the summer league, dominated. It was too easy for him. Now you're like, okay, this is a guy that we can put on the floor, and I don't even not a star or anything, but like we can put him on the floor and spell us for 5 minutes without the game going to shreds. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, him. I think Kobe. I do think Kobe should have got a longer leash last year, but I do think Kobe as well. And Cam Christie, who I'm super high on. I'm a big Cam Christie guy. Um, yeah, I think we got one with Jordan in terms of finally having young guys that we can put out on the floor and he can like be solid. But I think I can say the same thing for Kobe, and I'm not too far off, maybe a year away from saying that with Cam Christie. I'm super high on Cam. So, yeah, that summer league experience, man, was I don't think I can remember a more fun summer league watching Clippers basketball. I remember the semis. I was literally up like it was a regular season game. Like, get a stop. You know what I mean? Like, I was into it, man. No pun intended, but. Yeah, that was a fun summer, man.
Did the schedule release temper your expectations at all, or kind of damper them? Because 16
Not at
back to
all.
backs, because second toughest strength of schedule, any of these things upset you? I'm a little bit irked just because first year Intuit Dome, here we go. No more afternoon games, great. But then 16 back to backs, and there's another team in LA that has 13. And I don't know. I know someone's pointed out the fact that the Lakers have more nationally televised games, and they're trying to not have those teams play a game before that game or the day after that game, and that could help them out. But the Clippers have their own damn arena. Lakers
Yeah,
pay
that
rent.
say that again. Say that again for the
Lakers
people in the
pay
back.
rent, and the
Oh,
Clippers
oh,
have their own home.
yeah, exactly. And it's better than yeah. Don't get me started on that.
They got
Don't
a
get me started.
10-year lead on the next best arena coming. They do at Intuit.
Yeah, real talk, real talk. Honestly, bro, I can't say the back to backs irk me too much. It's kind of like it is what it is. I obviously wouldn't prefer it. But when they said we had no matinee games, I was like, uh oh, the other shoe has to drop. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh no, this can't be like this is way too good. You know? So yeah, I've never been a guy other than like the matinees, and even the matinees, like I I never really gave them too much credence. It wasn't until it actually appeared that it started to mess with us. Then I'm like, okay, we need to find a way to get out of this because we obviously stink in the afternoon. Um, but yeah, I'm not a super schedule guy. The schedule, because like it's the one thing you can't change, right? Like it is what it is. Um, I'm just looking forward to playing these home games at crypto, shit, into
I
it.
do it too.
Yeah, man, and seeing the difference. Um, I haven't really took a deep dive into the schedule anyway. But yeah, I've never been too much of a schedule guy because it's like, what are you gonna do? You know? Because like I always say, what if it's game 82 and we're out of the playoffs, right? And or we're out of the play-in, or we're in the play-in, right? And you're looking at it and you're like, how did we get here? What are you gonna do? Blame the schedule? Like, are you fine with saying, hey, our season ended because our schedule stunk? Like no, like you know that's a terrible reason to go out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can't place. any blame on the schedule, man. It is what it is. Lace them up, be a pro. We got enough.
I like it. All right. Before we get out of here, I wanted to shift for a second because you met one of my idols before, and I have to ask you about this.
Okay.
How'd you meet and have a relationship with Mac Miller?
Oh man. Oh man. I could the real story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First off, rest in peace, man. That's my dog, man. That's my dog. Um, so this dates back to like 2010, 2011. It started. I was just a fan. I was a super fan of Mac. Kids had dropped, and yeah, I was a super fan. And his team at the time, like I said, like 2010, 2011, they were doing this thing where on Twitter, and they were like, "Why should you be? Why are you Mac Miller's biggest fan? It's a contest, and if you win, you could spend a day with Mac. Blah 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 blah." Right? And so after that, I emailed them and I told them why. And I was a super fan. Like I used to, yeah, this is crazy. I used to like print out CDs of his kids' mixtape and pass them out and be like, "Yo, listen, you guys are sleeping. This guy has the next best thing." I was just super Mac Millered out. Kids took me back to a time in my youth, man. I'm a very nostalgic person, and like I just thought he's a great rapper, and I love his music. And so I emailed them back. And so then, like a few weeks later, I get a call from Tree J, is a guy named Tree J who's in his team, and he said, "Hey man, like you're in the top three of the contest. So again, this is your chance. Let us know why we should pick you, right?" And so I let him know, da 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 da, and then they said, "All right, we'll be in touch." And then I'll never forget this day. One day, me and my brother, we were at Target, right? We were at Target,
Your brother Justin
and
Wilson at LA
yeah,
Clippers Film, who is in fact your brother, right?
my
You
twin,
guys,
my twin.
yeah. I gotta say this. There was a game last season. I don't know which one of you came up and talked to me before the game. And I just had to play it cool and be like, my guy, good to see you. I don't
Yo,
know if it was you or Justin.
the my guy drop. Yeah, man. It's happened a lot, man, throughout our life. But yeah, we're identical. That's my brother, my twin. But yeah, I was with him. We were in Target, and Mac Miller tweeted that he was about to go to and still. And still is it's not there anymore, but it's this like retro spot. It was this retro spot on La Brea where you could get like really cool retro clothes and stuff. And I used to go there all the time. So when he tweeted that, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go meet him. Like I'm just gonna go, right?" And so we went. We went. We sat. We parked right outside, right in the front of Anstill, and we sit there and we wait for them to show up, right? Like maybe 30 minutes pass. Um, I tell my brother, like, "All right, we out. Yeah, it's not gonna happen." And then as I'm about to pull off, I see them crossing the street. Crazy. So I said, "Oh wow, this is it." And so I get out of the car and I go and tell them, I was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And they were like, "Yo, what's up, man? Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm Jamal. I was top three in the contest." And they was like, "No way, this is fake, bro. You won the contest." And I was like, "What? No way." Da 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 da. And then so Mac was like, "Yo, this is da, 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 da." And it was so crazy, man. So he took me inside of the Ant Still store. He was like, "Yeah, get whatever you want, man." Right? So I get whatever I want. And then he had a show that night. It was him and Casey Veggie. They had a show that night at the Troubadour. I think that's what it's called, the Troubadour.
Troubadour? Yeah.
Troubadour. And he was like, "Are you coming to the show tonight?" And I was like, "I don't got tickets." And he's like, "Bro, it's me. It's my show. If you want to come, you can come." And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." He's like, "All right." And then as I'm about to leave, I was like, "All right, I'll see y'all at the show tonight." As I'm about to leave, Max says, "Hold up." And then he tells his manager, he's like, we can't do this. Like, he has to roll with us. And I was like, what? And he was like, do you have anybody that can take your car? And I was like, my brother is in the car. He's like, yeah, just tell him to take the car and just roll with us for the day. And I was like, all right, bro, this is crazy. This can't be happening. And so my brother takes the car back, and I just spend the day with Mac. From there, we went to eat in some spot in Beverly Hills. We were all riding inside of a Sprinter, and we get out of the car, and he says, "Everybody got money to eat?" We all got in a circle. He pulls out this big wad of cash, and he just makes sure that everybody is good. Go eat whatever you want, whatever, whatever. And then we eat. Then we all get back in the Sprinter. We head back to the hotel. At this point, we're just talking about everything in life. Some things I'm not going to even mention that we were talking about. It was just crazy.
Is
We
this
get
a
back to the
tour
hotel.
for kids or Blue Slide Park?
No, this was before. This was around the time he was prepping to drop Best Day Ever. Um,
Hence, best day ever for a fan type thing.
right.
Okay.
So yeah, he was like, it just kind of worked out that way. So we get back to the hotel, we're unloading his stuff. It was like the first time I ever seen like up close like a rapper have women fawn over him. Like, we're unloading stuff, and the girls are just driving by. That's Mac Miller. Da, 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 da. So that was crazy. And then we're just chilling at the hotel, and then we had to leave the hotel to go to sound check. Um, and then at the show later that night, it was even more crazy because like I'm backstage now, and there's smoke going on, there's drinks flowing, and then Casey Veggies opened up for Mac Miller. Casey Veggies brought out Dom Kennedy and Tyler the Creator, so they're backstage with us, and yeah, it was just a crazy night, man. And so I think after around like 1, they gave me some money for a taxi, and I took the taxi home. And I think Benji is it was his manager. Um, and Mac was like, "Yo, let's just keep in touch, man. You're a really great guy." And I was like, "For sure, man, for sure." And so yeah, you can see it. It's called Mac Miller Fun is for Everyone Volume One. It's on YouTube. But yeah, that was the start of it. And then after that, we just kind of hung out when we could, not a ton of times because he was always busy. But he we kept in touch. He heard that my mom was sick. He let me know like while he was on tour, like before every night they prayed for my mom, which I was like, yo, that was just he didn't have to do that, man. You know what I mean? But everything you hear about him in terms of being a nice guy, he genuinely is a great soul, super nice guy. He would always tell me, whatever it is you want to do, man, you can do it, man. This world is for the taking. Super positive guy. Um, yeah, and I miss him, man. I miss him. But yeah, that's kind of like the short version of it. Uh, but yeah,
I'll
he
get
and
the
then
rest of
he
it
like
into a dome sometime.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, Mac is a great guy, one of my favorite rappers of all time. Gone too soon. It's crazy because I feel like as Mac was passing, I think the album that he dropped right when he passed was Swimming, and I thought that was his best body of work. And like you can tell as he got deeper into the tooth of his career, the genres that he touched started expanding. Like his flows got better. Like he just kept getting better and better year after year. And so, yeah, going too soon, man. But yeah, that's my guy, and I'm proud to say that I actually knew him on a semi personal level.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm not going to lie, I was a total casual. I listened to Kids a lot, but I didn't get deeper into his catalog
Yeah.
until he died posthumously. Then I went through his entire discography from like Easy Mac all the way to when Faces came out a
Oh,
couple of years ago. And
oh
I
yeah,
completely understand what you're saying about the maturity and sophistication that was coming with his
oh yeah.
music.
That's exactly what I was trying to
I,
say.
I think of tracks like Woods in 2009 and Surf and Right. and then Colors and Shapes on Faces. I was listening to that earlier today. I was taking a walk before the podcast here, and I was kind of getting nostalgic and wistful and thinking about how Max kind of a what if story and the Clippers 2-1-3 era is a what if story. And I think about this girl that I knew that, I loved, and she loved Mac Miller. And I think about that situation. I'm having a moment here, but I was thinking about,
Rabbit hole, man.
did I mess things up? Am I a what if story? And then I thought, man, I just want to be on the air when the Clippers win the championship. That's all I want. That's all I want to happen.
Yeah,
And I want to talk to Jamal post game.
You know what it is, bro? I've come to grips with like I love this Clipper thing way too much. It has way too much of a bearing on my life. I don't know what I would do if we actually won a championship. I have a terrible case of the what ifs when it comes to the Clippers. I've watched like game 5 of the 2020 Western Conference second round way too many times. I've watched game 6 versus the Thunder in 2014 way too many times. I've watched game 5 versus the Rockets 3-1 chance to close it on the road. I've watched that game way too many times. Like, what if we close it out? Yeah, I get a bad case of the what ifs with the Clippers. So you're not alone, man. You're not alone.
Can't live like that. Got to keep pushing. Intuit Dome is on the way. Gonna be the best day ever on October 23rd. Clippers taking on the Phoenix Suns to open things up. I want to see Jamal Cristopher there. Jamal, I know you got 50K followers on Instagram at Jamal Cristopher. Is there anywhere else you want people to find you? I mentioned your music on Spotify. I was listening to some of that earlier. I was thinking about the party's over. 2-1-3 era's over. Just give everybody your outlets and where to find you.
The party's over, and then the what ifs, and this is a downer, man.
I didn't mean to get heavy with it here. I didn't mean to.
No, it's crazy. I appreciate you listening to my music. I don't really even I'm not really even active when it comes to music anymore. I haven't done that in a while.
You should be, man. I was grading your verses. You talked about Mike Bibby handle. I mean,
I used to be such a Mike Bibby fan. I wanted them to win. I don't mean to bring this up for you. I know in terms of what ifs, this could be probably tough, but like 0-2 lives with me a lot. I wanted Mike Bibby to do it so bad. As much of a Kobe fan as I was, I wanted Mike Bibby to do it.
He had a shot in game 7 on the near side baseline short corner that would have won it before it went into overtime that I think about a lot. People don't think about that shot. I talk about game 6 and the screw job with the Kings in that game and the Lakers getting 27 free throws in the fourth quarter a lot, but they still had their opportunities, and that I've spent a good part of my life on that series, let's just say.
I can understand. I think about the Peja airball. There's a Peja airball.
I think about how people forget Peja wasn't even supposed to play in that series. He was coming back from an ankle injury. I think about how if he didn't play, with how good Hito was playing, they might have won the series. Hito was great. Peja probably should have never played. I think he ended up shooting like 33% the last 3 games when he came back in game 5.
Yeah. You gotta give credit to the Lakers too. Kobe and Shaq are who they are for a reason, but they definitely weren't the better team that year. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, you can I don't really have many other places to find me on Twitter. It's at Jam Cristopher, JamCristopher. Instagram, Jamal Cristopher, JamalCristopher. And yeah, nowadays it's just a lot of just like me living my life, and people seem to enjoy it and enjoy my takes. Some people follow me because they hate my takes, which is a weird thing, but
I'll take some hate follows.
Absolutely. Bring it on, man.
Well, I love your analysis. I always have. I remember we got to know each other with you defending me from someone coming after me on X. Really? This is probably like 6 years ago or something like that now. But you had my back with the situation. Yeah, it's been a little bit. Maybe it was 2018, somewhere in that area. I don't remember. It was early in my time with the Clippers, but you are a basketball compass for me. I look towards you for insight, for
Man,
information, for reliably honest and objective takes. That is Jamal Cristopher to me.
man, that means a lot, man, because I share the same sentiments as you do. Someone that's passionate about the team, but like passionate about the sport in general. So like, I look for a healthy dialogue when it comes to talking about basketball or the Clippers. So I don't even remember defending you, but I probably did because I actually rock with you. I used to. It's crazy. I know. I always supported you when you went back and forth with Coach. Whenever you go back and forth with Coach, you be sunning that man. And yeah,
I
shout
used to
out to
drink,
Ricky
you
G.
know.
But you,
I love Ricky G. Ricky G is the OG.
yeah, shout
I
out to
die
Ricky
for that
G.
guy.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky G. But yeah, no, I don't remember actually defending you, whatever you're referring to, but it sounds about right because I actually do um rock with you the long way pause. And you're a great guy, you do great work, you have been for years. And yeah, man, genuine people connect like that.
Let's just say it had something to do with someone accusing me of being racist because I don't hire African American people as if I'm running a company. I don't run a company. I don't know what he was coming after me for. And you were like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, what?
That that sounds like some typical Twitter stuff.
Yeah.
And I said this a while ago when I first got on Twitter. I had to say to myself, like, if you make the choice to get on Twitter, and especially if you make the choice to get on NBA Twitter, you're gonna get some stuff coming at you, all from all angles. So just part of the game, and let you know you're doing something right.
Sometimes you just got to take a deep breath, hit that mute, hit that block, and keep moving, keep pushing
Yes,
sometimes. Jamal,
absolutely.
thanks for doing this. This has been a joy here. Of course, I had to have you on early with this new YouTube series going on Clippers Talk. We'll do this again soon once we get some action, once we get some basketball going. But I appreciate your perspective on the Bruno Mars concert and where the Clippers are
Yeah,
headed to. And of course, giving us that verse out loud audibly.
that's crazy. That's kind of crazy that I did that, but no, thank you for having me on. Please have me on again anytime. I'm down. Um, yeah, you just say the word, man. I already know where this thing is gonna go for you. So I feel honored to be part of the beginning.
And by the way, I only asked you about the Mac Miller situation because I wanted to trust that it was you and not Justin Wilson. You guys weren't
Ah,
fooling me like the Morris twins. No, I knew
yeah.
you only had the inside information on Mac Miller. No, I still couldn't. I was like, I don't know. I just talked to Jamal. I just talked to Justin. They're identical twins. What the hell am I supposed to
Hey, hey, man. Like I said, you're not the first one. There was this thing going on Twitter for a while that people thought that I was doing a thing where I would retweet myself or tweet myself.
Oh,
They thought I was running my Twitter and LA Clippers film. And then B. Seaman tweeted a picture out of me, him, and my brother, and that kind of put an end to everything.
there you go.
Um,
There you go.
but yeah, that for the longest people didn't really. I said it on Twitter for a while, like yeah, like that's my brother, and only the people that knew me in real life understood what I was saying. But like a lot of people on Twitter are trolls, man, and so you could tell them one thing, they don't care about that. So,
It's like
but
how
yeah,
some people needed to see Buckethead with Les Claypool in the same place at the same time to make sure they're not the same guy,
right,
guitar player,
right,
bass
right.
player. We got that figured out. We got that sorted out now. And Justin, open invite next week, my friend, if you want to come on. I just had your brother on here. But tomorrow here on
He's
Clippers
open,
Talk,
man.
I'm going to hit him up. Dime Dropper and I are doing a home and home. So I'll come on with him on Locked On for the first half of the episode. Second half, he's coming on with me here on
All
Clippers
right,
Talk. I know Jamal just joined Dime Dropper recently. It was a great episode on Locked On Clippers, but that is a future episode coming up on Wednesday, tomorrow here on Clippers Talk. For Jamal Cristopher, I'm Adam Oslin. This has been another Clippers Talk show for you. Love you all. Talk to you later.